There we go.
All right.
Let me just get my little buttons going here. All right. Hey,
Hey,
good
how are
evening,
you?
everybody. Welcome to the Pandemic Proof Singer Series. My name's Danielle Tucker. I'm a singer, vocal coach, and a lead singer for the Mighty Untouchables band. I'm also the soon to be host of a summit coming up, the Pandemic Proof Singer Summit. So, if you are a singer and looking for a little direction in 2021, please save the date for November 16th, 17th, and 18th. We're going to have a great time. There are some incredible speakers that are going to be shining some light on the pathway to greatness again. But without further ado, let me introduce my amazing guest tonight. This is Derrick Harris. He's better known as D. Harris on stage. He's an entertainer, singer, songwriter, MC, recording artist, a Marine veteran, and an entrepreneur. And you graduated from Musicians Institute with your degree in vocal technique, and you specialize in harmony and arrangement, stage presence, choreography. You sing with the Undercover Band, lots and lots of years of experience singing. And you also kind of marry your music and advocacy together. And I'd love to talk more about that. But tell me what you've been up to. What were you doing when all of this mess hit? And how did you transition into this new life we're living?
Oh boy, what a mouthful of things to tell you. So
All
when
the
the
things.
pandemic hit, definitely. When the pandemic hit, I think that was what, maybe January, February, March. I was teaching here at a school called Rock Stars of Tomorrow in Norco. And I was also doing a lot of weddings, concerts, just doing the normal musician things, touring around, and boom, everything stopped. I mean, I lost everything within like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
you know, which was really kind of a cool thing. It turned out to be a really good thing, although it's a bad thing for the country because it allowed me to really dig deep and figure out what I wanted to do with myself as far as music goes, what I wanted
Mhm.
to do as far as a side business and a career, all things that I'm sure you're going to ask me about. So I don't want to run too fast.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with that abrupt halt that we all experienced. So, did the teaching stop for you too, or did you transition anything online right away? Or
Yes, I did. I went through the culture shock of Zoom.
yeah,
Um,
Zoom
definitely.
singing especially.
Oh, wow. I mean, the delays. So immediately after, or when the COVID hit, I went to virtual. So I think I was teaching about 50 students a week, and that drastically went from 50 to about 15
Wow, wow,
to
wow.
about 10. So then I had a faithful few, but just the learning curve that I had to go through just to really get my students to understand what it was like to be virtual. So yeah, I was teaching, but I had to make a way to make it happen, and that was my avenue. So learning the internet and learning logic and learning how to use plugins for certain things and students really was the answer for me, really just digging deep, like I said, and figuring out what I wanted to do and how I was going to make it.
Yeah, yeah. Were you equipped to switch virtual? I mean, there's a setup required with that, and I had some equipment available that I had kind of stuffed in a shelf waiting to see the light of day, but were you set up to do that right away?
Oddly enough, yeah. So I feel like the universe was kind of like pitching for me years ago. So
Yeah.
funny enough, I had my home studio set up, but I wasn't working on anything at home for
Mm.
myself. I was just basically, if somebody had a project they wanted me to work on, okay, I work on it, blah, blah, blah. And I did, of course, I held my end of the bargain, but I didn't do anything for me. So when the COVID hit, I was home and I was like, I got this computer, I've got this microphone, I got this piano. I better go ahead and like really stick it to myself and really focus. I think because the biggest thing and the biggest issue that I had in the beginning um, was being at home all
Yeah.
the like,
Yeah.
hi, I'm home in my box. Here I go, you know, but it was cool.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
have
yes,
you
I work.
done any projects from your home recording studio?
Yeah, actually, I have done some projects from home from my studio. So the band that I work with, Undercover Live, they were my first test run with, just recording like virtual things. So I did that with them. Pardon me, I can't remember the name of the song that we did, but if you want to check them out, it's undercoverlive.com, and they've got all their videos up there. And another lady, Vanessa Bryant, we did a really fun project called Forever Your Girl. I don't know if you ever heard that song before.
Um, I'm forever your girl. That one?
Oh, she can sing. Yeah. Great voice. Yeah, that song. So we did that part, and I did the the singing part in it. It was really cool. It really allowed me to explore myself as far as a musician, as far as an on-screen actor without like, an audience there or anybody coaching me. So
Mhm.
those are just two of the projects that I did. I also worked on my solo project with a gentleman named Keith McKelly Williams. So it was a really cool thing,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. And you've been doing some you're back to doing some live stuff with him now, right? Doing a couple live streams, or are you live streaming, or are you just actually doing an in-person gig?
Both, both,
Okay.
both. Would you like to know the timeline of all these things?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Okay, so I work for a really gracious music school called Rock Stars of Tomorrow. And that was the first place that Undercover Live, we were able to do a virtual show and maintain our business. So I did one virtual show with them, and it was really cool. It was a new thing. Like I was at a rehearsal, a live rehearsal.
Yeah.
Um, and then I did another project with a band called ooh, I can't remember the name. I slipped for a second, pardon me.
It's
But
okay.
did a project with them, but then I did a drive-in show, which was something that was really
Oh,
cool
fun.
at Escondido. And so the change for that was is people flashed their lights and honked their horns for applause.
Nice. That's
So
cool.
just that change in me going through all these different shows and virtual shows, it really kind of broke me out of my shell of not really wanting to be on camera because I really wanted to do was just be on stage and be behind a microphone and maybe write, compose and help others. But now it pulled at my energy to become greater, you
Mm.
know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, after now that you've kind of, it seems like you've kind of explored what some of those, you know, performance opportunities that are available to us, doing more of the virtual stuff, and people are getting real creative with the drive-in um, performances. What do you, which one do you see taking off this year? If we're not back to, normal, venue performances anytime soon, which was your favorite? I guess I should ask.
So I have done some social distance live performances.
Okay.
I've been fairly busy at a few places actually. So to say which ones do I enjoy the most? Mm, I enjoyed the driving experience the most.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my most favorite. Um, it was a captive audience that we had. It was energy of my own and my bandmates,
Hmm.
but it was also just the feeling of I can do it anywhere, anytime, any place. But what do I see sticking around? Social distance shows.
Yeah. Yeah. And
People need
that's,
the energy.
yeah, yeah. So that's fewer people, just more space, pretty much.
Yes, yes, fewer people, more space. Now, some of these shows I have been quite surprised by because there's been a lot of people.
Yeah.
But we've been behind, barriers, or we've been able to just wear our masks. I don't know if you've seen they've got like these really weird long
Oh, yeah. I have
masks.
seen those.
Haven't wore those yet, but I wore a regular mask on stage. So I've had kind of a spin of being able to like test run every little spectrum of it. But I do see live shows sticking around for a while.
Hmm. Cool. Well, you and I kind of perform in the same arena with doing corporate work and things like that. And it's been really interesting to see what the demand is for the virtual entertainment. And we're definitely getting calls for it, but it's just a whole nother arena that most of us never expected to be jumping into. So I went and saw a warehouse demo the other day of a production company that put up a full stage lighting, sound production, and everything, and they have all the state of the art live streaming stuff. Um, and I asked, what is the demand for you know corporate event planners and everything really wanting this, and how are they incorporating live entertainment into these so that it's worth it. I mean, you put a 10-piece band on a stage, that's a pricey arrangement, and
Mhm.
are people into it if it's virtual? Are you hearing a lot of demand for events like that?
You know what? I haven't heard a lot of demand, but I did do one show like that just recently for a veterans company. And so basically, what we did was we performed for their live stream for about an hour. It was like a 7-piece, 6-piece band,
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool. But I see that happening more and more often. Live streams happening with conferences. Like I'm wondering what are they going to do with NAM when it comes time. I
Oh,
mean, what platform going to be like that? I mean,
yeah.
think about that. So I wonder, is everyone going to be home? Are they going to channel us out to studios? So it's
Mm-hmm.
another really interesting aspect.
Yeah, it definitely is. Well, I'm definitely curious to see how all of that plays out. There's a
Yeah.
lot of really cool opportunities that are emerging. And so, it's interesting just to kind of dip your foot in the pool of those. But anyway, I want to back up and hear more about your musical background. What was your musical upbringing, and how did you get started in this business
Okay. In the business or just in music, period?
in music?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a musical family. Of course, I grew up in church in New Jersey. I was born there, moved to Hawaii when I was about 13 or 14. So my parents were musicians. My sister sang in the choir. I sang in the choir. I was at church every night, so I had to be involved with it.
Yeah.
But then I took a special love to it when I went to high school. I stopped playing instruments and I just focused on singing, singing, singing. It's just because it's something that spilled out to my heart. So fast forward a few years later, I went to the Marine Corps and I had a staff sergeant, and he said, "Come here, Harris." And I said, what did I do now? And everybody was like, "Oh, you're in trouble." So he asked me like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "I'm just trying to make money like everybody else, staff sergeant." He was like, "You don't belong here. You should be out there in the world singing. That's what you should be
Oh,
doing. That's
wow.
that's your gift, man." And the funny thing is, I don't know if the guy was telling me because he really liked me, or he was telling me because like whatever reason it was. So I took his advice. I left the military and I took a day off and went to the Musicians Institute, took a tour, signed right up. I had the opportunity to go back to Hawaii, but I knew that this is where I wanted to grow roots and figure
Mm-hmm.
it out. So my first gig I got was doing this show called uh pardon me, what is it? House Full of Toys with Stevie Wonder. And so I performed
Okay.
with Hollywood Pop Academy, and we did a Heal the World, We Are the World, I'm sorry. And so it was really cool. And from there, I made connections with so many different people. I was able to perform. I even went and toured all around the world. I went to Lebanon, Jordan, Amsterdam, Germany,
Wow.
touring doing my own music with this gentleman named Michel Lebaki. He's a bass player over there.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been exposed to being able to accomplish my dreams and my goals. And it's been because of music and my ambition to believe in myself and to
Mm-hmm.
not let myself quit, because it was somewhat fear based. Like, if I stop now and I don't continue this passion, this dream, this idea, am I going to feel sorry for myself?
Mm-hmm.
What stories am I going to tell my family, my friends? I'm like, because I can only tell military stories, but for so long before people are like, this guy is crazy, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I
so
get it.
definitely, I really just wanted a new story. And that's why I keep pursuing music, and that's why I keep marrying it every day. Love, rain, sleet, or snow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So you're also an entrepreneur. What are you getting into business wise?
I joined a company called World Financial Group a couple years ago. working on helping families earn and save money via insurance and other investments. I kind of let it take a back seat because honestly, I just wasn't passionate about it. And I didn't feel good offering something like that to people that I wasn't super passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward down the line, what I started doing was I started using my sociology degree to mentor children and teach them music and also give them musical therapy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
At a really big rate, I teach a lot of students that have autism that are on the spectrum. And these happen to be my most valuable, interesting students, most talented. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they're very involved in singing and rapping and writing their own music. So I decided, why don't I take this on as a business venture, as a business career, and just try to marry my degree with what I love and
Yeah.
teach children, you know, and so sorry.
It's okay.
And just really teach them well and let them lead the way, not to be cliche or anything, but
Yeah.
honestly, so that's my new venture right now. Just
Okay.
working as a child therapist, working on my credentials as well, my master's. So life is
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. So that's is that a private practice that you're teaching teaching through, or is that through the school that you work with?
Oh, both,
Yeah.
both. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Very nice. I
Yeah.
love that.
Thank you.
So tell me more about the school that you work for. Do they, is it primarily vocal studies or is it all kinds of things? Are you primarily a vocalist or an instrumentalist too?
Okay, so short story, but a long story and a good story. So the school does not just teach vocals; they specialize in guitar, bass, um, computer programming, studio,
Wow.
piano, um, stage performance. I think it's really an all around type of school.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't just teach vocals; I teach piano a little. I teach performance. I teach theory, harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything a good singer should have, huh?
Yeah. But it's funny though, like I didn't play piano before, but I realized that, you know, after leaving MI, after learning piano there, I was like, man, you cannot give anyone a vocal lesson and not know how to play piano.
Yeah.
So I stuck myself in a room and I played all day, all day, all day, all day, you know. But not just because of me, not because of something that I wanted, but I wanted to give kids a quality lesson. You
Hmm.
know, I wanted them to know that anything is possible if you work hard, you know.
Yeah.
And with that, like, you know, I draw so much inspiration from the people that I see that want to accomplish their dreams, you
Yeah.
know, the people that haven't even reached 15 yet, you know. So that's where I get my inspiration from some days.
Yeah.
That and being hungry and I want some more money.
Yeah. Let's get that money rolling again.
For sure.
You know what's so funny about the piano thing is I've had so many singers on that have said the same thing that if they have one regret as a musician, it's not having not learned piano or enough piano or focused on guitar work or anything like that. And I definitely agree with that. When your approach with piano, do you think that there are shortcuts to be had with piano and self accompanying apart from, learning piano from scratch, learning all your scales, learning all the theory behind it, learning, classical into more, contemporary styles or, what do you think?
Okay. So I do feel like there's a shortcut to everything.
Mm-hmm.
You could definitely take the shortcut and learn how to play a chord off of YouTube and learn how to play a song. But then you kind of suffer in the long run when you start to get around real musicians that
Right.
are speaking to you in code. They're like, okay, come on the one. Okay, here's the four. Now here's the five. Okay, double. And you're like, what? You know, so I think that a good balance of both is really great. Like get some theory in your life, understand what it is to play the piano, your hand gestures, you know, and then after you do that, really dig into the deepness of like what kind of music do you want to play? You
Mm-hmm.
know, what do you want to sing? Is it going to make you happy to play folk music because there's a way to play that? Is it going to make you happy to play neo soul because there's a way to play that? You know, but I do feel like you need a balance between the two, and you just shouldn't want to shortcut it because you shortchange yourself.
Yeah.
But there is a way. I mean, I know a lot of people that done it. I've done it, you know, but it's just definitely better to go the long route and just learn it.
Sure. And definitely when you start dipping into songwriting too,
Oh yeah,
you know, you've got so much more power in your hands, you know, to be creative and just, you know, think out all your concepts and kind of, you know, build them from there. But,
right.
and speaking of songwriting, you're a songwriter too.
Yeah.
Have you been writing a lot since COVID?
I have actually. I have. So I've been working with a couple of friends of mine. Like I was saying, the gentleman, his name is Keith McKelly.
Mm-hmm.
He's a saxophone player, really, really great guy. You should check him out. But we're working on an album right now, which is due to be released.
That's him calling.
That was him calling. Oh
He's
my
like,
God.
tell them more about me.
Oh, Keith is a great guy. He played with Larry Dunn of Earth, Wind and Fire. He's played for the last few NAMs. He's sponsored by a company. I want to say, I think they're called, they're a little small company. I think it's Yamaha.
Mm-hmm.
And he plays at
I think I've
something
heard
called,
of them.
yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So he plays this thing called the E-Way and the Aerophone, but he's a really great musician. I mean, it's amazing what he does. He's like from outer space. So we've been working on the album, some experimental stuff, you know, just really getting out of the realm of everything that we've been taught is the right thing or somebody else's thing. We just want to do our thing,
Yeah.
you know. And then another gentleman that I've been working with, his name is Gabe Rosales, really renowned bass player. He used to play with Jennifer Lopez. Um, so we've been working on the project as well. It's kind of a bluesy feel,
Mm-hmm.
kind of a bluesy rock thing, R&B slash. But yeah, those are the things that I've been doing, working, writing, just trying to
Yeah.
maintain myself and build and
Yeah.
grow, you know.
Yeah. Do you have any experience releasing music online? Have you done any of the distribution platforms or anything like that? Or has it always been your practice to kind of write the music and then sell it in person?
So I've done a little bit of both. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
been doing any releasing online as of lately, so I don't want to act like I have been, but I do have people that have been doing it for me,
Mm-hmm.
and been teaching me the way of doing that. And I won't like make anything up and say that I have been, and you know, I just want to be as genuine as possible. So no,
Yeah.
I haven't been doing a lot of that, but I have been selling music online.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really wasn't that interested in doing my own work before. I was just really interested in singing and
Mm-hmm.
making money, which is one of the reasons why I didn't produce my own music online. I didn't have it in me. I wasn't passionate about it. So now that this new wave has come about, you know, I've been pushing more towards that.
Yeah. Yeah. Being in the cover music, do you find that as singers, if we get really involved in the cover scene, that we're going to go one way or another with it? And do you think that's a good thing to choose one path over, like, say choosing the working professional singer path versus the artist path?
I think that the person should choose their path that makes them happiest,
Yeah.
that
Setting.
they're most comfortable with in the morning when they wake up and at night.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I chose the path of being a working musician, and it turned out to be what I wanted. But in the end, after COVID, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know that this was what I wanted. You know, I didn't, you know, um, but I really feel like the path to take is the one that's going to make you happiest. And I was happy entertaining crowds, singing songs that I loved, and even doing my own songs, you know. But I think that when a person wakes up in the morning and they can look at themselves in the mirror and they can say, you know what, I'm happy writing my own music, doing my own music, even though I'm not making any money,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa, you know,
Yeah.
because I kind of walk both roads, and it really just depends on the person. And just personally speaking, I wouldn't change anything about what I've done because it's made me such a better musician. And I want to do it for myself.
Yeah.
Like I want to write music for myself. I want to appreciate it myself. and I want others to enjoy it. And other people don't feel that way. Some people are really, really just, they don't, I don't know what they feel, and I'm not going to act like I do, you know,
Yeah. Yeah. I
but it just really
I love that answer, and I totally agree with you too. I think it is. It's just it's a personal choice, and I mean I see the benefit of going down, purely the artistic route versus the working singer route. But the way I've always felt is that when you get involved in cover music too, the sheer quantity of work that you do and the hours logged on stage and the mistakes, the lessons learned and everything will only make you a stronger artist if ultimately you decide to go down that path too. So I think there's no right answer, you know.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Now, I think like if in the beginning, when I first got here to LA, I had, wow, so
It's him
sorry.
again.
I had no clue as to what I really wanted to do. Um, I just knew that I wanted to sing. And I didn't have great direction at MI. I just had direction of, hey, if you want to sing this gig, you got this gig, you can do it. But I feel like it is very easy to get stuck as a gig singer, as a
Yeah.
gig. I mean, because you can find some companies that pay you really well and take you all over the world doing what you do. And it can be like, well, this is great, but in that realm, you still will be working for people. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with it. You still will be working for people, and you still will not have the opportunity to be really what you are deep down inside.
Mhm.
Really finding that that new on stage, and I'm talking about it because I'm reliving it, relearning what that feeling is and what that vibe is outside of just singing gigs. And you're right. I mean, wow. Just think about it. The many, many hours on stage, the many, many stages. A lot of stages you forget where you are, you forget who you are if you get lost in it. And I mean, I
Mhm.
can go both routes as an artist and as a gig singer, you
Yeah.
know. So I think it's just really being grounded and really understanding what you are, who you are. And that might come later down the line, but having some sort of plan is much better than just jumping into singing anything.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that for sure. So you are doing some gigging right now, but if I'm hearing you right, not at the frequency that you were before, doing
Not at
all
all.
the corporate work. What are you missing the most about it right now?
I miss my friends.
Yeah, yeah.
I miss being on stage with my friends. I mean, honestly, look, this is how I feel. I grew up not that rich. In fact, we were kind of broke, but I had a lot of love. So that's
Mhm.
my drug that I overdose on, you dig? And being on stage next to people that understand me musically, but also understand me as a person. It's a
Yeah.
whole new vibe in a relationship. Um, and I mean, outside of my bandmates, I miss seeing people jumping around and dancing and going nuts, losing their minds. I miss seeing people at weddings slipping and falling and saying the craziest things ever.
Yeah.
You know, I miss green room talks.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I miss
Yeah.
I miss corporate dinners.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
all these things that we slightly took for granted, but when we got to the gig, if they weren't there, like, man, we don't have no green room. You
Uh-huh.
know,
I miss dressing up.
oh
I miss trying to put my makeup on in 15 minutes and all the things.
oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I mean, I dressed up. I dressed up for Zoom, so I was dressed from the neck up. Today, I've got on all my clothes and my shoes.
Oh, you look
Yeah,
great. Thanks for dressing
thank
up.
you. Likewise, likewise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So now that, we are where we're at, um, what do you wish you knew then that you know now, having lived through these, gosh, what are we on, 7, 8 months now in this situation? Is there something you would have done differently or something you would have prepared
If I knew then what I know now, or if I knew now what I knew then,
if you knew then what you know now?
than what I know now? Is there something I would have prepared
If you'd
differently?
known, if you'd known back in March that we'd be in this insanely long stretch of not working at the frequency that we're accustomed to.
Hmm. I would have saved a lot
Mm.
more money. I would have not taken certain gigs and certain people for granted.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have taken vacations for granted. I would have taken more vacations, in fact.
Yeah.
And that's such a hard question to answer because I'm so forward thinking. Like I'm always thinking of how can we fix this of what was past. So
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm thinking in a business sense, I would have invested on a whole lot of N95 masks.
Oh yeah. Of
Oh
course.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
And I wouldn't have. There's just so many things to do differently, but I'm happy with the way that things are now. I've lost some friends due to the COVID. I
Mm.
have changed a great deal. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's good to be alive, friend.
Yeah.
It's good to be alive and good to have the opportunities to be able to meet with people like and still have my students and still be able to respect myself as a musician,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm with you on that for sure. So, speaking of your forward thinking, as you're kind of looking down the road and making your plans for 2021, what are you seeing in your future? What steps are you going to be taking?
I will be taking steps to provide more opportunities for musicians to work.
Yeah.
Since I've had the ability to be able to, and I don't want to tell all my business plans, but I'll tell you some.
Yeah.
Since I've had the ability to be able to be in every arena of COVID singing, I want to be able to book individuals now at a really safe rate,
Mm-hmm.
and bring my safety experience from the Marine Corps, as well as my safety experience from traveling around the world, and be able to provide a nice environment for people to still enjoy music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still planning, still working with my partners on figuring out what that next avenue is. But in 2021, definitely have more of my own music released,
Mm-hmm.
with my name, my face on it, something that I can be extra proud of, do more interviews like this, and then still travel, still travel the world and see my friends and my family and make new friends and make new family members.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds like a good plan. It sounds like you're diversifying. You're not putting all your eggs in one basket. And I think if I had known then what I know now, that would have been my game plan. It would have been to really be involved with more things, more things that could be lucrative, could be creative and everything. I mean, I absolutely, love what I was doing before all of this. Um, and I wouldn't change that, but I think that's something that entertainers should consider going forward is just, making sure you're not putting all your eggs in one basket and just, trying to, like you said, save money too. That was a
Yeah,
big thing for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
definitely. That's actually, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
That's
go
the
ahead.
reason why I became a gig singer, outside of gigging, back in like 2008, 2009, 2010. Like I had other jobs that I was doing because
Mm,
I always learned that you need 7 streams of income, like really just to make it happen. I mean, my family lives in Hawaii and the other majority of my family is out of state. So I'm the only Harris in this state that's of my kin.
okay.
So being here, like I had to find different avenues, and that's something like singer survival that they should teach this. Now, what do
Mm-hmm.
you have to do? Like you, being a musician sometimes means doing a lot of odd jobs when you don't want to. But
Yeah.
I just had to figure out how to stay in the arena of music in some way, some shape, form, or fashion. And I've just been so blessed to be able to find and make good friends and make positive relationships with people that I was able to get and diversify, get in and diversify my life and my career. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's the
Yeah.
big thing. The more people you just can't stick to one thing. You gotta learn and grow and reach out. You
Mm-hmm.
know.
let's do something on the fly here. Let's
Sure.
try to name as many streams of income that a singer can make down every avenue that
Ooh.
you can think of.
Down every avenue, a singer can make money. Okay. A singer can do bar gigs.
Hmm?
A singer can do Valentine's. What do you call those?
A
Valentine
singing telegram?
singing telegrams.
Yes.
Uh, a singer can also do nowadays virtual shows.
Yeah.
Singer can do studio sessions, voiceovers, background singing. Um,
Mhm.
if a singer is very smart, they'll do a lot of corporate gigs.
Corporate gigs,
Um, if a
wedding gigs,
singer, yes, wedding gigs. Um,
church music.
church music, definitely. I've done a lot of church music.
Mhm.
Um, how about you? What else can a singer do? Singer can.
A singer can. I'm trying to think of avenues that involve money. Definitely, I think online session work is probably, a stream of income that a lot of singers don't know too much about. Let's see. There's distributing your own music, of course, making a few
Mhm.
bucks off your own songs, sync licensing. Let's see. Hmm.
Singer can teach,
A singer can teach. Yes.
but a singer to teach, you gotta have to understand what you're doing,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, you do.
and understand people for the most part. Mm.
Mhm. Yeah. Trying to think. I know that there is some money to be had in ensemble singing. You could sing in a caroling group.
Yes, Disneyland's got a lot of those.
Yeah,
You could
yeah.
sing. You could sing at Disneyland as a Disney singer.
You could sing as a Disney singer, right?
You can also sing at theme parks such as Six Flags.
Uh huh.
Um, singer can sing on Broadway whenever it gets back.
Mm hmm.
Singer can do plays.
Yeah.
It's I think it's preferred that a singer can do a play because you have to do two things. You have to emote on stage, so that's kind of a natural thing if you're used to something like that.
Mm hmm.
Mm,
A singer
but it's hard
could.
just.
What's the word I'm looking for? Is it Is it busking? Is when you play out on the street for money? You know?
Oh yeah,
Is that the word? Am I saying
I
it right?
I honestly didn't know that there was a term for it.
Yeah. Well,
Corner
all
singer,
the musicians watching are gonna bust me big time for that if I use
subway
the wrong
singer.
word. Oh my gosh. Trying to think if there's any new avenues. I'm gonna be so
Mm,
sad if I think of like 5 to 10 of them after we hang up.
we will think of them. I bet another topic will come up, and it'll be singer can.
Yeah. Oh, Sarah Ingram is watching. Sarah, tell us some more avenues that a singer can make money. We'll see if she can answer.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I appreciate so much that you're a forward thinker and that you're really, really positive because I think that we're in a stage where obviously this has dragged out a lot longer than most of us had anticipated. And in our community, there's some suffering going on. There's some, emotional pain, there's financial pain. And I think, and it's fully, understandable and normal for everybody to be going through those emotions and everything. But I think the more people in our community we have like you that are, voices of hope and positivity, the better.
Thank you.
Um, Sarah says she just got done teaching, so she's out of ideas for us.
Join the
Yeah.
club.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's your final message to our community of singers and musicians out there? What do you want them to know right now?
Listen, it looks odd when a singer has a frown or when a musician is sad, but also it's healthy because we get to experience our inner peace and our inner pain. But I want you to know that it's okay if you keep on going and discover yourself.
Mm,
It's okay if you find a new avenue and you decide that you've got the intestinal fortitude to be more than what you are. I'm positive because it's so easy to be negative and quit,
yeah.
you know, and I just never want to put myself in that place. And I want you to know that I'm from Newark, New Jersey. I grew up without a father, not by choice. You know, he had cancer. And one thing he always taught me was is if you love something, go after it. Make sure it's good for you.
Mhm.
Make sure it's rational. Make sure it's logical. Make sure it's reasonable for your spirit, for your energy. And if you don't believe that you have a spirit, believe in somebody else's spirit and chase after that. Chase something greater than yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
And whatever you do, stay hungry.
yeah. I love that message. That's great. That makes me feel good. Where can everybody find you on the socials? What's your main platform?
So my main platform that I love to dig into is Instagram. So that's D Harris Music at Instagram.com and then Facebook.
Okay, cool. And any shows coming up?
You know, I don't have any shows that are booked for the rest of the year. And I don't know why. Is it COVID?
It's okay.
Um,
I feel you very hard on
however,
that.
comma, I am working on a podcast right now. So I will be putting up some clips of that on my Instagram page. So people look out for it. It's going to be myself and Keith McKelly. We're going to be bringing some people on. Love to have you on the show. I think it'll be really great. So that's another one of my ventures that I'm putting out there. Oh, a singer can do a podcast.
A singer can do a podcast.
Yes.
They can do a live Facebook interview show.
Yes. Look at you. Go, girl. It's your birthday.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Derrick, for taking the time to come and talk with me tonight. It's really good chatting with you. And again, I love your spirit. I really do. It was really
Thank you.
nice to talk with you. And I'm definitely wishing you the best on your podcast. I would love to come and talk with you on your podcast too.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I guess we will say goodbye to everybody for tonight. And just a reminder, singers, don't forget to save the date for November 16th, 17th, and 18th, because we've got the Pandemic Proof Singer Summit coming up. There's going to be some incredible speakers. They are going to be lighting you up for 2021. So if Derrick and I have not given you enough streams of income that you can pursue in 2021, come to the summit and you'll find out a whole lot more. So we will see you there, and I shall see you soon, my friend.
Cheers. Aloha. Thank you.
Yeah. Good night, everyone.
Good night.